Good evening to everyone. I'm Dr. Daba Chaudhary and welcome to Development of Education and Business in DEB show. I hope that you are all are well, that we are thinking that we will see you again in this episode. So today's topics is actually sustainability and green revolution. So you know that actually this topics is very interesting and very much important for policymaker, educators, and even and the business people. So I thought that will be very much interactive for audience and my guest. So today I have two guests, as you know. Always I invite two guests. One is a specialist and one is the academician. So I want to introduce you my right hand side. Dr. Harish Gaikeli, who is the associate professor at Ravensbourne University. Harish, welcome to the program. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Daba, for inviting me to DEB show. I'm really delighted to be here. I'm Dr. Harish Jawali. I'm an associate professor at Ravensbourne University. So I also lead their research group. Yes, that's about me. Thank you.
I'll leave that. And my left is actually Dr. Debjyoti Das, who is a lecturer in Edinburgh. Welcome to Debjyoti, to Dr. Das show. Thank you. Can you introduce a little bit to you?
Thank you for inviting me. So I was born in Shillong in the city of Meghalaya, and I grew up in India, and later I came to the UK, and currently I'm working in the University of Edinburgh as a lecturer, and I specialize on climate education and sustainability issues.
Thank you. Thank you. So for your viewers, as you can see that two experts with me, and I do request to all of you, if you have any question related to sustainability and green revolution, please you can see the telephone number on your TV screen. Please call us in the studio and we'll try to give you answer. And that is actually the important thing that we want to see, like what is in thinking about the topics, as I always bring the new topics in within the episode. So if you are really interested to the sustainability, to the green revolution, and to understand and how it is working in the real world, that is your time today to ask some question to the studio. So again, welcome to all of you, and sorry for a little late because we can actually came in the traffic, so sorry for it. Now I want to actually ask Dr. Harish just to give a little bit about more details about you, that you born in Nepal,
yes,
and then you now in UK, and especially in the studio. So can you giving little bit your journey within a couple of lines?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking. I'm from Nepal. You already mentioned that, obviously, from Kathmandu, which is capital. So before I came, I mean, I was running some businesses. Then alongside with that, you know, I was also very much interested in higher education because we had one school as well running. So yeah, from that, obviously, I work in other countries as well, including, you know, some businesses in South Africa. Yeah, that's about me. And then after, obviously, we came here. Then yeah, now working as a you know, academic. Yeah, that's about me. Thank you.
Thank you, Harish. We will come back to more question in a minute. And so Dr. Das, please, if you can also introduce, I know from, as you said, you're from India, but little bit about you, that how you know, your journey start from Shillong to UK, and your, you know, what are you doing now as well? Thank you.
Yeah, so for my forefathers, they migrated from East Pakistan to Shillong, and I grew up in the city of Shillong, which is a very beautiful place, a hill station. And then I moved to New Delhi, where I studied in one of the most prestigious universities of South Asia, at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. Then I got the prestigious Felix Scholarship to study at the School of Oriental African Studies in the UK, and I came here in the year 2007. And since then, I've been doing a lot of research and teaching at various universities. I've also had a short spent at Ivy League University in the US, and currently I'm based in Edinburgh, where I teach in the School of Education and Sports, and my research focuses on the Global South, comparatively looking at South Asia and East Africa.
Thank you very much. So viewers, you can see, like I said, both are really expert in sustainability and green technology, green revolution, and green business, entrepreneurship, and so on. So we will obviously we will discuss it in parallel with the sustainability and green revolution. So these are actually very hesitated word, and a lot of times you can see many people cannot discuss about the sustainability, and also sometimes when we talk about the green revolution is a really big topics, and a lot of things going on, especially in the AI sector. So my first question is actually from my expert, Harish. If you can think about, like, obviously I know you doing a lot of things for business side and teaching in the university. How you describe the sustainability? And there is a misunderstanding. Many people really not clearly understood what does it mean. Yeah. So if you can little bit elaborate and what you mean and when you are talking about the business purpose.
I think this is one of the highly discussed area. I mean, everywhere we talk about the sustainability, but then somehow I found some kind of misunderstanding as well. So sustainability is about the let's talk about from the business point of view. You know, when you run a business, do you want to profit in a short-term basis, and then what happened tomorrow you don't know, or you want to have a business for a longer term? You know, you want to make a profit for a long term, or just a 1 year, and then you don't know what is going to happen. So maybe from business point of view, sustainability is about what makes it longer term, whether it's about the planet, it's about the our education system, it's about our policies, it's about our businesses, or maybe the way we are practicing in the world, including just you mentioned about the artificial intelligence. So sustainable, to what extent we protect humanity, protect people, planet, environment. So that's about the I think sustainability. So this is a simple way to understand is about the how long we want to go.
Thank you. So Dr. Das, obviously, as he said, protecting business and education and so on. So as you are expert, actually, I know you are really much advanced level of the green revolution and talking green sustainability. What is your definition and how you can get the message to the audience?
So I would like to qualify here that the sustainable and the green revolution that you are mentioning is the green industrial revolution. We started 200 years back with fossil fuel consumption, and that has resulted in the depletion of resources in various quarters of the globe. And the idea of sustainability emerged in the late 1970s and 80s with the various UN conventions that were kind of organized in order to understand how we can think about the future without using the resources that we have at present, or using them carefully rather than using them to be at their peril. So sustainability in the broader sense is about cautiously, carefully, convivially looking at resource use, and that is what has happened in the past 200 years. We have rapaciously depleted much of our natural resource, whether it is water, whether it is fossil fuels, whether it is carbon, and that is what sustainability is all about, kind of caring for our future.
Excellent. So thank you. And now, if we can actually go back to the green revolution, does it actually, at the moment, you see a lot of technology, actually a lot of technology covering many things. Do we need to care about the green revolution, like in how we protect the green things, or for example, like as Dr. Das already mentioned, like in fossil fuel, like carbon dioxide and all sort of thing, or is beyond something? How you describe like in green revolution to the sustainability?
I think this is quite important for us, to all of us, to care. I mean, everything has a limitation as well, including this green revolution, what we talk about. In one way, we want to, maximize resources and limit any kind of the risks. But also, I think while we are advancing green technology in every aspect, I think it's quite important for us to understand what is the level of risk it is coming up. Right? So yes, I mean, we needed a new technology in our agriculture, in our medicine, maybe to better in terms of the product that we offer to the consumer. I understand those point of view, but in the same time, while we are maximizing this kind of production, using this technology, maybe that is not a greenery as we have vision for greenery. Does that make sense? Because it might have a lot of risks to the society in other way. The way at the moment we are having a discussion about the responsible AI, responsible medical treatment, you know, a lot of, you know, the vaccine has been produced recent days, a lot of medicine has been produced recent days. We talk about the sustainability, but in the same time, what the risks. I think I would suggest maybe we have a debate more on the risk side, while appreciating this greener technology as we go ahead.
Thank you. So, Dr. Das, do you think, like, obviously, as you see, like, and we are, most of the politician, most of the academician, most of the government, and many people are actually talking about the sustainability. In the same time, now green revolution is actually in the middle of the somewhere, because the technology is actually covering many things. For example, we are saying, like, you know, people are not too much worry about the developing the, you know, like crops, like vegetables and all sort of thing, which is our daily basis product. Instead of they can go to the develop some online business and then earning money. So what do you mean, and how we describe the green revolution and why it is so important, especially in this environment?
Yeah, so if you want to understand green revolution, there has been a green revolution in 1960s and 70s. If you look at Mexico, if you look at India, if you look at Thailand, and that was to maximize crop production as the global population was booming. But then the second green revolution that we are talking about is the green industrial revolution, where you're talking about using solar panels, wind energy, and many other kind of, you know, innovations that will help reduce the carbon footprint. And when we are reducing the carbon footprint, we are also talking about generating green jobs. So we do need to kind of scale up. We need to kind of build the skill sets among our population who can transition from fossil fuel production to green energy, to green housing. And that is the process that we need to kind of really undergo. And countries like Nigeria, Iraq, other all countries, they are the major fossil fuel producers in the global south. So what the global north needs to do is to finance these countries to build their skills in order to, just energy transition. So we are today talking about just energy transition, which is very important for global south countries, because historically the global north has polluted for the last 200 years, and there needs to be reparation, there needs to be acknowledgement of the fact that we need to kind of, you know, give them loss and damage fund. So I think these are the measures that need to be carried forward in order to scale up the greener future that we are looking at.
Thank you. So in parallel, I want to ask, like, if this revolution is going on, does it actually climate change also under this green revolution, or it is the part of something else? When we talk sustainability, you know, United Nations talking about the 37s of some ideological footprint. So do you think this green revolution is actually part of that, or it outside in the tick box?
Yeah, so the green industrial revolution is the heart of this climate change debate, because we are talking about addressing the climate issue, not being a denialist, as many political kind of, you know, figures are trying to project. So we are trying to kind of address questions of equity, questions of justice, questions of parity in the global south, while at the same time in the global north we are talking about how can we reduce our emission and what are our targets. And that's why we have set up the net zero targets for the UK for 2050, and for other countries it is much later, but it all depends on the historical emissions that countries have done. So the green industrial revolution is very much at the heart of the climate change and the global warming debate.
Excellent. Now, Harish, Dr. Harish, obviously, as you can see, like in net zero is also we are talking sustainability, we are talking, then we are talking about the green revolution. In the meantime, we have a lot of technology, obviously. Now, does it actually the net zero, or you are teaching entrepreneurship, for example, I know in the business startup and all sort of thing. If you see somebody doing the small business, how they think about this, all those things, do you think they need to think about, or, you know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, maybe they don't care it. But now is a lot of things coming in front of us, and you can search and you can find something. So who can actually help this thing to their small businesses?
I think what we really need to understand is a responsibility for everyone, right? If you want to look at that way, whether it's about the employee or business or consumer or society, policy, everyone responsibility. But especially asking about the small businesses, you know, perhaps, or maybe businesses, let's say, Yes, we already talked about sustainability or green revolution is a long-term project, so that's why it might have a cost, because you need to comply with the different level of regulation, and which is required, in fact. So let's not forget, this is our responsibility, everyone's responsibility toward the world. So that's why it seems to be costly now, because it seems to be difficult, it seems to be not clear in a policy, but over a long term, it's a benefit for yourself, for the society, for the coming generation. I think we need to move toward the purpose-driven businesses rather than profit-driven business. I think this is what we need to have more clarity.
Yeah, I'll come back. So, Dr. Das, do you think actually I talk about the small business, obviously, because Dr. Harris is a specialization for small businesses. Does it actually, when we talk in the corporate social responsibility, CSR, does it actually involve sustainability in terms of big businesses? We are talking about like in chain business or hotel or food industry and any sector. How does it differentiate from a small business and the multinational business?
I think big businesses have got a bigger responsibility because they have a brand name, they have a corporate social responsibility, as you have mentioned. Today consumers are very conscious. They want to see how much of your product is recycled, that whatever they are buying from the market. They also want to see whether they have been ethically sourced. So I think big businesses have a much bigger responsibility. In fact, if you look at companies like Asda, Marks and Spencer, everybody is kind of talking about recycling, upscaling.
Thank you. So thank you, viewer. We are going for a small break, and then after that we will meet you again within 2-3 minutes. So please stay with us, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Good evening, dear viewers. Again, welcome to the DEB show, Development of Education and Business. Today we have two guests. Those people are just recently joined to the TV screen. I just want to quickly introduce. My right hand side I have a Dr. Harris, and my left hand side I have a Dr. Das. Both are academician, and as well as they are also practitioner. They have a business. They are actually running different sort of business in UK and outside UK as well. So we are talking about today especially the sustainability and green revolution. So viewers, if you have any questions or any kind of doubt, please call us on the studio that you have a TV screen, the number on there. So please call us if you have any questions, and then we'll try to give you answer. And both the guests are really expert in especially sustainability and green revolution. So we are talking about actually how we can understand these two different things in the same time, especially sustainability and green revolution. It is a very hard and conservative word, because people are not easy way to understand these two things, because of many things happening. So whatever we talk before our break, I have just to take over from there. Dr. Harris, that you actually talk about the entrepreneurship, like we talk that how sustainability and green revolution is actually happening from the business. I'm sure that you know the lot of new things discovered by the technology. Yeah. Now, what is the issue is at the moment behind the scene in the United Nations and obviously the global lot of organization, actually like in health organization and WHO, they all are talking about the green revolution, like to understand how they can save the people, make our human life more enjoyable and so on. So about the business and about as you are teaching that, what is the 17th point that United Nations is talking about and why it is important?
I think it's more about again bringing the whole country together and having a single policy, that allows not only about one country or other, it's about the whole world, global, coming together to really address the fundamental questions, including whether it's about the climate change or eradicating poverty, or about the gender equality, or clean water, including these 17 goals have been sustainable development goals have been set by the United Nations, and the progress have been made. They expected this to be happen by 2030. Some really doing well, some still much to do. I think that gives us a kind of the one sort of outline, for every nation to go on. Yes, some countries are ahead, maybe developed country has much to do because they are in the early stage of the development. But yes, I think the commitment has to be there. Many countries are working toward it. But again, having said that, this policy is not only about the UN responsibility. I think this policy is driving this policy responsibility of everyone. Again, this is not just about the policy. We need to know how to put into the practice as well.
Thank you. So that's absolutely because application is important, how they can see those things.
Yeah.
Dr. Das, as you see or as you hear from Dr. Harish that we need to apply and develop this thing. I asked you actually before the break that a small business and MNC to use the CSR, corporate social responsibility. So if the company not actually sustain, how CSR actually applied? How you can see that corporate social responsibility could use right way so they may make more sustainable. So is it CSR is actually also part of the sustainability?
Yes, CSR is part of sustainability as long as it doesn't lead to greenwashing. We have to be responsible, ethical, and in our practice of business. It's not that we kind of invest some money, kind of educate people for bringing about sustainable growth, but don't do real change in our practice of business. And that is where even small business can play a very important role, because small businesses can use more sustainable energy, and that will bring them long-term gains. And that is what sustainability is all about, sustaining the resources that we have at hand. And it's not only about just investing some plots of money in solar panels or some other kind of innovations. It's about kind of crafting that model of business growth which is within the supply chain management, which kind of encompasses the entire system of an industry or of a factory, or let's say of a corporation. So let's say, for example, if you take a Costa, if they are not sustainably reusing their byproducts, their kind of waste, that doesn't lead to sustainable growth. So it has to be part and parcel of the entire chain of system that the corporations are running.
Excellent. So actually you bring, I was so happy that to see that solar panel, you talk about the supply chain and all kind of thing. Obviously the sustainability is actually the part of supply chain, where is the product producing and how it come to the end user. So in terms of both of you, obviously we can see that at the moment, do you think there is any bypass, if people can do bypass of sustainability and they can make more efficiency or effectiveness, or sustainability will be make more productivity for the company and make more profit? How they can differentiate?
Yeah, I think what we really need to understand, the corporate social responsibility is a good in a term. Okay, it's about that you need to be socially responsible. But then, to what extent are you really committed about corporate socialism? That's a really important aspect. Are you using this CSR as a means of advertising or maybe reaching to the consumer? How ethical you are, that's an important question to ask. Yes, if you are ethical, if you are honest, if you are committed to the CSR, definitely it will build your reputation. If you build your branding, and it will make a long-term good relation with the consumer, then that's what we are talking about, the sustainability, right? So yes, and again, just to add on, corporate social responsibility is not enough in today's world, because we need to move more than that. For example, I was reading recently one article which talks about the corporate political responsibility as well, in terms of the being a citizen of the country, and then really understanding what is going on, and maybe able to really question what are the wrongdoing as well. So I think we need to understand CSR from broader perspective, but we are in the right direction.
Right, thank you. So are you agree, Dr. Das, how you debate or how you put it in the plate?
I think the political economy of the land is very important. For example, if you look at avocado, it's considered to be a very healthy food in the global north. And where is it coming from? It's coming from countries like Chile, Mexico, where people are suffering from very poor health conditions, low purged water levels, and there are kind of drug wars, and there are kind of mafias which are operating in Mexico. So is it ethical to kind of import avocado when people are actually suffering in those countries? There is a very interesting documentary in Netflix called Rotten, which talks about these political economy discourse, and I think it's very important to foreground these debates within the wider kind of problems. Like, for example, we are talking about EV batteries, we are talking about electric cars, but where is lithium coming from? It's coming from Democratic Congo, Republic of Congo, it's coming from Latin American countries, and these these countries are war torn. So we have to really look at the wider gamut of sustainability. Is sustainability only for us, or it's for the wider public, citizens?
Good. Yeah. So you actually, both of you, talking about the making aware of the citizenship, like in how the company or government make more aware of the citizen in this type of things, that how they can see the balance between the production and the consumers, like in what they're consuming in the same time. So do you believe, or do you think, both of you, like, and obviously the government and policymaker need to be more strict with the those things to make more harder for this sustainability rule and regulation, or whatever it is, is okay?
I take a more sort of balanced approach. I wouldn't say that they need to be tougher in terms of the making a policy and implementing. Yes, some extent they can be, but then because more about bringing the awareness, educating the people, making them, taking commitment themselves, being they feel responsibility about that. Yes, there is a regulation required. For example, we have, net zero regulation here, so which is kind of helping. It is required, but I wouldn't go to the extreme end, because we need to, first of all, people need to understand, especially if you were talking about the global south, people need to understand, what am I doing? What is the benefit? I think awareness is important. Right? Maybe European countries is easy because people are much more aware about what is going on. So government role is more about the promoting, supporting, ensuring where policy is required, and yes, if there is an urgent issue, you need to be strict, like you said.
Very good. So actually, I can hear that you said net zero, and Dr. Das also said net zero. In compare with, like, obviously, if you look at it now, in London, when a lot of people are upset about the ULEZ and all sort of thing. So, Dr. Das, can you little bit elaborate, like, policymaker or politician or somebody? We are not talking politician, we are talking business and education, but still it is a part of something. Like in when ULEZ came to the city and people are upset, but it is actually part of the green revolution, or how you can describe this ULEZ and all sort of things, boundary and layer and all sort of thing. How you describe this thing?
Yeah, I must say that it's very much part of the circular economy discourse.
Okay.
Today we are talking about mass transport transit system. We are talking about bicycle lanes. We're talking about 20 miles per hour, because we need to reduce the carbon footprint of UK, and this has already been achieved in many European countries. So we are actually lagging behind. Although UK has done great work in kind of phasing out carbon, particularly fossil fuels, like for example coal, but we still are lagging behind in terms of improving our public transport. We need to make our public transport more efficient, more kind of accessible, more desirable, in the sense that we need to reach out to poorer areas. Like London has a very good transport network, but we need to kind of decrease the dependency on the use of vehicles, and that for that we need to have a safer routes, and I think that's a very important strategy, and that is all part of the whole decarbonization process.
So that is actually at the end, actually, what is we are trying to understand. So this is the part of green revolution, isn't it? That is happening in UK and especially Greater London. Am I right?
Yes, it's very much part of that discourse, and what we have seen, the opposition to the UL, is that it's a temporary phase.
Okay.
People would get the benefit of the wider kind of impact in the coming years.
Excellent, thank you. So Dr. Haris, as just a little bit, if you can came out from UK to outside, like you from Nepal, and obviously as you see, and I'm from Bangladesh, but still we can near to each other. So if you look at your country, and if you look at the sustainability and green revolution, how people are actually aware of this thing? Do you think it need to be more course or training or something? How you can inform this thing to the Nepal, if you can talk about the Nepal content?
Thank you, Dava. It's a really important question you asked. Looking at the back home, obviously Nepal is a developing country. You will see the various spectrum. Like a capital in Kathmandu, perhaps you see much more similarity. Young generation, have quite, ahead. So looking at that, I mean, obviously there's a lot of work to do, that's quite sure. But equally, I'm quite surprised seeing this millennial young generation. They are very much into the sustainability sort of agenda, They talk about it, they really care about it. It's not just about the, talking for the sake of talking, but they really care about, which is really optimistic, But in the same time, there's a big gap. If you go to the sort of, village area, people don't have even a clue what is sustainability is about, why it's needed, because they are already struggling to make their living, right? Because everything goes through the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know, when you are struggling for food, and then maybe they are not. But over a time, we can really teach them what is their level of contribution as well. You know, so I think this maybe we need to have a different model of corporate social responsibility that could fit to the people over there. But in general, I'm optimistic, and then I think I'm seeing the progress there.
Thank you. Same thing. What do you think? If you think about the Indian contents, how you describe it? Do you think government need to be more care about, or same thing? What is happening is happening. Nobody bother. What is your opinion, please?
I think in countries like India, we need to really streamline our priorities, as the other speaker has already mentioned, that in the global south, people are looking for equity, they are looking for food, they are looking for shelter, the basic needs, which are very much fundamental towards our improvement, towards our development. So we cannot just say people, well, stop the production of rice because it produces methane. What we need to do is to inculcate a kind of activism within people so that they can care about their environment. They become environmental stewards, they do community action, they kind of pressurize the government to take the rightful decision towards green sustainable growth. They vote for kind of policies which are really futuristic, which can bring about transformative change in society. So we are looking for real hope and real change. And in the global south countries like India, there has been a lot of experimentation right from the Himalayas to the south in Kerala. People have done enormously, they have contributed enormously. They have actually kind of stood against the corporations like Coca-Cola, who are kind of pumping out water from places like Plachimada. So there are umpteenth number of examples that we can site where people are really gearing up for a sustainable future. And also we should understand that people have local knowledge in these areas, their indigenous knowledge, which is very much central towards conservation.
Absolutely.
And they've been using it for generations. We cannot undermine it. In fact, our modern knowledge system should work in tandem with our traditional systems in order to make a better future.
Excellent. So we are all obviously, dear viewers, you can see we are all talking about the better future, but we also have our own responsibility. So based on that, as I just want to be little bit go back to the net zero. When you were talking net zero, does it actually also happening in, obviously most of the developed country they are thinking, so how the developing country can contribute or can have some lesson from net zero? Can you just elaborate if you don't mind?
Yeah, I think it's very important for the developing countries to kind of learn lessons from the global north, in terms of how they have brought about industrialization and what impact it has had on our aquatic system, on our biosphere, on our land. And they need to kind of really streamline their policies in ways that it kind of brings about equitable growth. So if you look at solar technologies, windmills, they have been expanding in countries like India, but often that also leads to land grabbing, and small farmers have to pay a price. So we need to kind of think about social justice issues, environmental justice issues when we are talking about making progress while discussing about questions of sustainability and equitable growth.
Thank you. I can see also one thing, obviously, for my own understanding, like now technology is covering many things. People, young generation actually become so much little bit, not I say lazy, but you can see they can find easy way to get something. So Dr. Harris, do you think like if the student want to, or next generation, to do some research, to do thinking something green regulation and sustainability or CSR, what sort of topics and what type of research they should do? Because I know you are doing a lot of research about the sustainability. How they should find something, or what message you can give to them?
I think obviously that's a very broad sort of area to really talk about, but yes, I think if you really care about sustainability, if that is your interest, to do the research, definitely, you can talk about a number of things. Obviously, it's very difficult for me to tell you what is the area, but within that, obviously, what we discussed just now about the maybe, companies' responsibility, government policies, at the individual level, what's what's the responsibility are, what SMEs should be doing, you know, how things can be changed. It is a really interesting topic, but again, you know, when we talk about the research, obviously we need to understand the what context, what project, what timeline, what resources, a number of things are required. But yes, I mean, we are more than happy to really, you know, mentor, because, you know, we've been doing to the many students from our region as well, to talk about and share our expertise. But I would suggest, you know, this is the future. If it interests to you, I mean, absolutely go ahead. There are hundreds of different areas you can do within this. But my suggestion would be, if you are interested in research, I think you need to really first find your interest, and then I think then we take it further from there.
Thank you. Dr. Das, so do you have something also for a young generation? Like, I know you are teaching and you do a lot of research. You also trying to help the white paper to, you know, making the policy and sort of thing. What kind of research you thinking that a student, young generation should look at it in the future career?
I feel it is very important that we kind of all invest our time in kind of being inquisitive about knowing about climate change, global warming, and the kind of research that we are currently kind of doing is more interdisciplinary. It's a multidisciplinary research where the arts, the humanities, the sciences come together. So climate change is not the problem of the scientist. It is also a social science problem. It's also a problem of the arts. So I encourage my students to kind of look at the climate change issue or global warming issue from multidimensional perspective, and that's very important to kind of analyze things in more critical ways, to develop a critical thinking of the socio-political consequences of, let's say, you know, a degree of increase in temperature. So I think it's important that we kind of look at the climate change issue from a wider perspective, from a wider lens, and the research should be geared where it brings into conversation different disciplines.
Thank you. And obviously, we can see the many things happening in the technology world. Like, if you look at the AI is, you know, big data, we talk artificial intelligence, we are talking about the cloud computing, everything. So what I can see, like, and there is a lot of decline of farming, especially you know, people as young people are not interested in farming. Even Nepal or India, if you look at it, lot of village people are now become a technology person. And so, as you are both expert and, you know, in the academic world, and how could you give some sort of advice, like, for young people or the business people or policy maker, that what they should do to involve is not like an against of technology. I'm not talking against, but I'm talking about how we can motivate it more green revolution. That is the actually topics we are talking about, like, and how we can not you know, concern just apply to involve people. Any methodology, any kind of thing?
I think this is really really important, you know, point you raise. I think this is the kind of concern back home at the moment. You have a land, there's no people there to work. I think people want, I mean, no technology, or maybe could want quick, easy money, you know, that they sort of job approach. We are much into the job. But then we maybe didn't understand much on the agriculture entrepreneurship. You know, maybe we need to really bring that kind of education more, because agriculture is not necessarily about looking behind, it's about looking forward, because you can transform that to be a, you know, some innovative solution, right? So maybe I think one thing is we need to really make from a local government point of view, more awareness, and then show the example, and maybe take example from Western countries, right? The farmers here have doing really well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you could you give a last message to the audience, then how this thing should be applied, and just within a quick, because we are in the end of the program.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we need to do is to promote vocational education.
Very good.
And actually universities are not the only places where you can learn. So farming is a great opportunity. We have got aquageoponics in Bangladesh. People are kind of struggling with climate change and the sea level rise, and they are kind of innovating new. In fact, in urban spaces, people are doing farming. And there are different ways of innovative agriculture, drought resistant agriculture, drip irrigation. All of these technologies can be used to make your agriculture more productive and futuristic, and I think there is huge opportunity in farmlands. We need to just understand the imbalance between the big farmers and the small farmers.
Yes, thank you. Dr. Harris, if you can say a couple of words in the last to your audience, what message you want to give about the sustainability and green revolution for the audience.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for hosting us. And then my suggestion would be let's keep going, because this is for everyone, not only for government or the community or the business. This is for everyone. Let's try to put what we can do from ourselves, and then let's go ahead. Let's protect the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, as you can see that today we talk about sustainability and green revolution, and you can understand actually that both are very much interconnected between the sustainability and green revolution. So I hope that you enjoy the program, and we discuss supply chain, we discuss net zero, we talk about the solar panel, and I hope that young generation could find new things to develop something for the next generation, and we hope that everybody live under sustainable development process. And all the best for all of you, and see you soon again next episode. Thank you. Have a good evening.